Wagwan brethren, it's Avi and Jal. Okay, I'm going to stop that right now. Welcome to Braco on the north coast of Jamaica. We're flying the Aviat Husky today out of Braco Airfield. It's near Montego Bay, and we are taking a flight to a phenomenal bush trip that I highly encourage people to download by a guy called Photos by Kev. It is Uncle Bob's farm. I took a trip in there the other day, and this place is really hard to fly into. It's actually it's got terrain at both ends of the runway. It can be quite challenging. It's narrow, and you'll see why when we get there. But we're flying out of Braco right now, which is another scenery that I have along with... It comes in a pack with Greys Inn, two little small airfields on the northern coast of Jamaica. And they are created by a user whose name I apologize, I've just forgotten. But I'll be linking to his sceneries in the description. Now, let's get ourselves underway, shall we? Thank you very much for that. I appreciate the sentiment. Now, we're flying the Aviat Husky today with a mod on this. This is one that was created, and it's circulating around a couple of the Bush forums and Discords, but this adds a 215 horsepower engine to the Husky, which is a version which is technically available for the Husky. So, let's try it. It's got a bit more grunt, I'll give it that. Okay, so everything else in the aircraft looking good here. I think we're okay. What's that one? Oh, that's my boost pumps. I always forgot what that button is. Okay. Fuel boost is on. Throttle is cracked. Brakes are applied. Okay, we are cranked. Oh, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Where are you? No. Sod off. Go away. Okay, transponder's looking good. Lights are good. System's good. Boost pump is off. Right, so I'm not entirely sure where I take off here because I've never flown out of this place before. Let's have a quick look around outside us. Okay, so that's it there. Cool. Let's do this. So I'm going to show you a couple of techniques today while we're flying because we'll be using a more gravity-centric approach to land into Uncle Bob's. And for departure, I'm going to show you something else that you can do with bush planes. And this is a ground effect takeoff, which is perfect for a long grass strip. No, it's something for the backcountry where you're dealing with a lot more, should we say, interesting terrain. Okay, so we're lined up here. I've got no flaps deployed. Okay? Wings are clean right now. We're going to deploy flaps in a second though. So let me just straighten the aircraft up here on the runway. You'll notice this has got a lot more growl to it right now. Okay, so we're lined up. We're good to go. I'm going to give us full gas. Get the tail up. 1 and 2. Pop flaps. And pull flaps back in. Remaining ground effect till we're flying, which we are. And we can climb away. See how quickly I was up there? In no time at all. Basically, you get the aircraft up off the tail onto the main wheels. You then give it a count so to pick up some airspeed, and often you can be up before your airspeed even comes alive on the indicator, but in this instance we get the tail up, give it a 2 count, pop a flap stage which gives a momentary boost of lift, get the aircraft off the ground. You heard the stall horn going because we weren't really at flying speed yet, but we could nose the aircraft forward, get into ground effect, pull the flaps back up again, build speed and take off, which lets you get out in places that are really tiny. Okay, so we're flying entirely the wrong direction right now, so we'll go this way. We'll turn around over the coast here, just near Montego Bay in Jamaica. I've not actually done much flying out here, and this is one of the things that after flying in Mexico with the last video, I realized that I've not done that much flying in other parts of the world. This sim is so beautiful. Let's take the opportunity. Let's fly in new and creative and unusual places. Let's take you people on a wonderful world bush flying trip. We're going to go everywhere. So this is Braco we just took off from. Tiny little grass strip here on the northern shore of Jamaica. And you know what? We were actually on the right course. The damn GPS thing is just dang angled around. That is so weird. Whatever. We'll fly it. It'll be fine. Could have just stayed on the same angle, but I'm stupid. We were going the right way. What an idiot, huh? Okay, so let's get my Manifold about 22. Let's get RPM to 22 as well. This should do us nicely. Nice gentle scoot across Jamaica here. Just pull back to make sure a tiny notch just to let the engine lean out. Now, I'll be doing more specific videos on engine management and also navigation with VORs, NDBs, but here's a pro tip for you when leaning the aircraft. As you climb past about 3,000, just pull it back slightly, watch your EGT. Lean back until it stops going up. Here it's going down, I don't need it, so if I push it forwards, it goes down, but if I pull it back a little bit, you'll notice it does just go. It keeps going down. I don't care. Either way, we're too low. So there's our course and we've drifted off it, so we'll head back this way. We're going to be flying over the interior of the island of Jamaica right now. And Uncle Bob's is a unique little strip, which you'll see when we get there. It has 2 runways, one of which is in use. One is, I believe, destroyed during one of the hurricanes that hit the island. It's covered in rock, it's got holes, it's destroyed. It is not suitable for landing. So we're landing on, technically, the track beside it, which is narrow and has a lot of trees. Pretty dense tropical foliage. But let's just say the rewards of arriving at Uncle Bob's rank a lot higher than the negatives. I will leave that there with you for food for thought. What are we doing heading to Uncle Bob's today? We're delivering munchies. Absolutely. They are out of Aunt Jemima's secret sauce for the barbecue, which we're delivering 2 crates of. We're delivering 15 boxes of Cheetos. And for some reason, an apricot. I don't know why. Did I say 15 boxes? Okay, more like 5. There's not a huge amount of room in this plane. I'm not used to flying things this small. Smallest I used to fly were things like the 185, the 206, 207. So I'm used to having a little bit of cargo space. In this Husky we don't really, so we're bringing in enough for at least half a party. Hopefully other pilots will bring more. So let's head ourselves out into the interior here. And as you can see, it's beautiful. I just love the density of foliage we get now in the new sim. In the past, it was possible to land in the middle of a forest or jungle environment because the land class was that weird. Now, look, could you imagine this density of foliage in FSX or P3D? Never. It's like a clearing is a rarity. It's so dense. I love it. Just makes the world seem that much more realistic. Okay, so nudges across this way. I love looking down and seeing these little slices of Jamaican life here on the interior. Just reminds me how beautiful a place this is. So it shouldn't be a long trip for us. So we're expecting about 15 minutes, basically, en route to Uncle Bob's. It's going to take us a couple of tries to get in, though, because if I don't nail this first time, which, considering I'm recording, there's a high possibility I will not, it will take a go-around or 2. And it'll give us at least the ability to talk about knowing if you can hit your mark. If you can touch down on your mark in the backcountry, you're good. If you can't, you need to be prepared to say, I'm not going to hit my mark, I'm going to abort this approach, or I'm going to abort this landing. And it's something you want to learn through experience and to learn through practice at safe airports, because when you go into somewhere where it's a little more difficult, you can't just commit to a landing if you're going to miss your touchdown point and run too long. You haven't got the room. So we're tracking generally towards our little magenta line over there. I just love looking down at all the farmland here. It's gorgeous. Very red soil of Jamaica. No reason to get too excited with our flight today. Weather's gorgeous, and this is one thing I think a lot of sim pilots also forget, is it's very easy to overfly a plane. Like, I'm just pottering along here. I have my finger and my thumb on my left hand resting on my leg, and they're just kind of holding the bottom of the yoke on one side. I'm just chilling. You don't need to put a lot of control pressure in. Just easing the aircraft where we want it to go. No need to white knuckle this thing. Way too many sim pilots, they grab the yoke with both hands, or the joystick is held in a vice-like grip, which makes flying so much less stable. Imagine if you're holding it with both hands really, really hard. Every motion is... No, unnecessary. Just chill, man. I'm gonna offend so many Jamaicans with this. I don't care. I don't know why I'm doing this. Oh, the hate will flow. I'm sorry. Okay, in another life, in my day job, I do a lot of character acting. So I do voices a lot. And characters. It's just part of what I do. And so you'll hear me come out with a lot of accents during your time here at Avangel. And flipping between them can get a little convoluted at times, so I apologize if they blend together. See, if we were in France, I would be perhaps talking like this. It depends whereabouts in France perhaps this would be happening, but you know, it's trying to get the world in together is more about how you phrase things more than what you say. Now, I'm never going to go straight from French to Hispanic, because that one is a culture mess of me messing up two Romance language accents. But where else do we go? Now, if I was flying in America, we could just go like this and be talking like any other person. But sure, if we're going down south, we could talk like this. I have no problem going down Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas. Depends where you want to go, honey. Oh, man. Yeah, it varies a little bit. Now, if I was playing one of my particular characters called Valentina Perez, it's all about rolling the R's and keeping the accent a little bit more fluid. No accent is perfect if you're not from a particular place, but it's about trying to overemphasize a few parts of it until when you soften it with time, it sounds a lot more natural. It depends. Basically, to do an accent properly, you over-egg it a lot at first, and as you flow through sentences, you'll accidentally soften back a lot, which lets things bed in a bit more natural state. And when you're character acting for animation, or for, should we say, non-real people, it doesn't really matter who the person is as long as the accent sounds about right. And if in any case, if it's a bit more comedic, it can actually sound better. It just depends. It's about playing a role and trying to fill more of what people expect than what people actually are going to hear. Because you'll find a lot of people from various cultures and backgrounds that have incredibly soft accents or strong ones. My partner, for example, is from Dublin. His brother has a very thick Dublin accent. Him, barely an accent. Just goes that way. Okay, so we're heading into the interior now of Jamaica. So we're not too far out from Uncle Bob's. Now, this upgrade, which I'm not entirely sold on yet for the Husky, definitely gives it a bit more legs. There is a 215 horsepower engine option available for the Husky, or very soon to be. So it's not unrealistic. It definitely packs a wallop. But it gives you about 110 knots of cruise, 115, which on a high power cruise, shall we say, is quite useful. Now we talk about EGT. Let's go take a look here, shall we? So, mixture. Pulling it back. See there, it goes up to 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 700. Oh yeah, baby, that's climbing up nicely. So either engine note is a great way to lean the aircraft, or you lean it just based on, there we go, lean it based on your exhaust gas temperature. Most aircraft have a readout for that, and you'll find that you lean it back to where the GT peaks, and you're in a good mixture location, which always helps. Okay, so rolling in here on track. Now I'm just gonna quickly have a look down here. Okay, so we're actually approaching Uncle Bob's right now. It's in this nestle of river down here in the valley, so we're actually in good stead right now. Just nose the aircraft down a little bit. I must say, I've grown to really adore this combination of glass in the Husky. To me, it's just right. It's navigation or flight instrument tools that are very useful, and it is... Or is it? You've got that benefit of the flight tool there, should you be in emergency, or should you really need to be precise on numbers. You've got, of course, the glass horizon, which is so almost indistinguishable from a steam gauge that I think it's perfect. I don't see why you can't have instruments like this in more aircraft, because, hey, it works. And the engine instruments are fantastic. I love them. Okay, so we're just going to descend a little bit down in towards the valley here. And we're just off course slightly, so we'll roll around to the right. Now, we should be coming over this crest here and descending down to the river valley, which is where Uncle Bob's is located. And that should give us our approach. Now, we're going to overfly once just to get a good vision on this and work out exactly what we're going to do. We're going to come in from the 17 side, which to me would be the most logical approach direction. It seems to be the safest and it's the recommended one. And with the terrain, it gives us our best options. So we'll be coming in from 17. So not long now until we crest over the hills ahead. Terrain starting to drop away now in the interior. Not very many roads out here in the interior of Jamaica. There's some towns and villages, but it's pretty rural down here. Gorgeous Caribbean flying. Okay, so keep an eye on the horizon ahead, make sure we're actually high enough up here. We're getting about 120 knots right now, so I'm thinking we have a bit of tailwind kicking in, which is unfortunate because we still have to land on 17, and we're about on that heading right now, so we're still going to have to really come in with a tail. Okay, no, I'm over top right now. I thought we were going to go past this hill, but we're not. Okay, where are we going? Let's turn around here, get ourselves a visual down to Bob's. I think we're about to fly directly over Bob's right now. Yep, there it is. Okay. Let's bring it around here. Now this could be a minute or so for us to actually get set up for our approaches. So we're going to do a low pass first, because when you're landing in the backcountry or in the bush, you want to think about assessing where you're landing. Now, I've made one landing here, so I do roughly know what I'm doing with this. In a vague sense of the words, but I have a familiarity with at least the approach appearance. But I'm going to show you guys because it's a good first step to do a recce pass. So as we're coming in here, you'll see it behind us, just over there in that nook of the trees here. So I'm going to drop us a notch of flaps, just to stabilize us at low speed. We're going to reset our prop and mixture to full. Altitude is low enough that we want full rich mixture. Okay, round we come. There's the field. It's very hard to see, but it is right over here. This is the bit we're not landing on, and you'll see why in a second. Let's give it some power. So where we're landing is here. This is clear. It's smooth. It's decent. That is a good landing, and this is our approach down here. It is not ideal. Over here, you'll see why we aren't landing on the main runway. It's rocky, it's covered in debris, and it is very overgrown. Now, as you'll notice, we have terrain up ahead of us, so let's go power on and get out of here. We want out of this very quickly. And we're going to set up for an approach on 17. Now, there aren't always places where you can do circuits, and circuits are something for GA fields or places where there are other aircraft operating. Really, it's a separation measure. It's not always that purposeful in the backcountry or the bush. So let's bring her around here, and let's set up for an approach 217. So we've got the Nook in the river in sight there. We know where we need to be, so I'm going to extend down for a long stabilised final. We'll come out just past the river here, and we'll turn around and set up. The longer you can give yourself on final, stabilised, the better your approach will always be. So we do have one notch of flaps in right now. Let's bring the plane round. Right, we should have eyeballs on Bob's there. I think I do. I do. Okay, I got it. It's kind of hard to see right now. I'm not going to point with the mouse because it is going to be trickier to do that. So I'm going to put another notch of flaps in here. And I'm going to keep my wing level. You'll see here? Wing level. I'm letting gravity do my descent. This way I don't come in with excess energy. So, very, very dirty aeroplane. I'm going to go full flaps, in fact, here. I'm thinking I'm too high up right now, but we'll see. We're actually coming down pretty well, but I could already feel it. Too high. Know when you're not going to make it, and just stop. That is the secret. Know when you're not going to make it, and just don't continue. Don't think this is messy, but I can save it. I know I need to land pretty early on the threshold at Bob's to actually make it in here, so I'm going to come back in a lot lower in, and we should be good. I don't care about engine overspeed. Not right now. I can afford it. At least for a short burst. It's a lot worse with the 200 horsepower or 215 horsepower engine because, oh boy, does it use up some power. Okay, let's drop some dirt in here. Get our airframe nice and messy. Where is it? I've lost visual. There it is. Got it again. Keep that wing level. Typical GA descent like this. No, bad. We're using induced drag to keep the aircraft slow but predictable. Okay. Right. This is much better. I can barely see the damn runway. There we are. Let's look over the hood, shall we? We're leaning forwards in the cockpit. Okay, let's go another notch of flaps here. Let's use a bit of engine just to moderate my actual speed. Let's keep the angle controlled by gravity. This might be hot. That's a tree. It's a little bit of a slip. This actually feels good. Okay. Bit of a bounce. Nope. That was not working. Yep, this is when I need the engine to overspeed. Come on. I was very late on that. I was very late on my touchdown, and the bounce killed everything I had there for my chance to slow down. Wasn't going to make it. Had to get out of that. Because I was going to end up in trees otherwise. The steepness of this approach makes it very challenging. Not the most challenging, but it's deceptively tricky with how low you can get. So I think I come in too high myself because I'm distracted by the trees and I'm worrying about them. Even though there's a clearing on the whole approach, which I should be using, I get very distracted. So I'm going to try one last time here. We should make it in. It's a good example of when to abort. That was a very, very late abort. I'd already basically gone to touchdown. I realised it was messy. I still just had room to make it out of there. Know what your aircraft can do and what it can climb out of. Learn basically when it's better to hit a tree at low speed or hit trees at high speed. That sounds so wrong, but pick your poison. Do you want to slam into a tree at 30 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, or do you want to fall out of the sky at 50? Yeah. Let's get that descent in. Also learn not to be afraid of the stall horn. Where is Bob's? I can't see it now. There it is. Okay. This is bold, but we'll see. Okay, time for the Death Star Canyon run. Line her up nicely. We're going to fly as low as this will let me now. We're going to fly the trees on the approach. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. This is looking good. And a little burp of throttle to just... Probably a bit too much there. That's better. Yes, thank you. I know I'm stalling. I'm on the ground. That was a small shrub. That's the statue. We don't want to hit the statue of Pegasus. Hey, Bob. We made it. Oh, that was hairier than I wanted, but we made it in. Okay, let's taxi over. Oh, there we go. We are in. Whew. That was spicy. Oh, let me just... There we go. Shut the aircraft down. Bob's is a great little scenery. Kev did a great job with this one. I just love the... Yeah, okay, we've got some coffin and the zombie hand. I'm loving the lamps. They are great. This guy looks like he's had one too many of the local lettuce. He looks very... Yeah. He's definitely had too much lettuce. Oh, look, lettuce! Yeah, this is a very diverse little location. Pretty sure that is not Bob. Yeah, I don't think she's Bob. Maybe that's Bob. I think that's Bob. Hi, Dave. And they've got enough munchies here already. Wow, I guess I brought some extra. But hey, more for all of us. And apparently a snowman's surviving all this heat. We've got the pigs there. Let's take a look at where the other runway isn't landable. Oh, yeah. He's not getting out of there. Random donkey. I guess you could land on this if you wanted to try something interesting, but I think here's the last 3 people that tried. Not ideal. But this is not optimal. Huge divot there. And rock debris about there. This would be unfortunate to land on. And the approach actually is better for the dirt here down between the trees. I think that's where I had to get it right. If you could approach between those 2 trees at the top there, you'll actually make it in good here. So that's going to be my reference marker for the future, is coming in about here, between those 2 treetops. That about sets me up for the right angle. I goosed the gas a little bit too much to round out at the bottom of my touchdown here, but we got it down and we got it stopped, which is the important part. And this is a fun scenery. Like, there are plenty of really nice airports out there that people make, but this is fun because of the quirkiness of what they've done, but also just the utility of it. The story it tells with the rock and the old disused runway and storm damage is fun because of old Bob and his lettuce. But it's just fun because it challenges you. It gives you something to really work towards. It took me a couple of runs in there. I think I dialed in what I needed to find at the end. But in the end, it's about having fun, and this, to me, was enjoyable. Really enjoyable. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. As always, thank you for joining me on one of these flights, and if you really like what we do here, please subscribe. Turn on notifications as well if you want to see more videos from me every week, and drop the video a like if you enjoyed it. Please comment down below. I love to hear from you guys, and I will see you all. The hell is that a cat? That is an eagle carrying... That's not a cat. That was a small dog. Yep, that's a fox. An eagle carrying a fox. Okay, there you go. I've seen everything now. I think it's time to go indulge in some of Bob's lettuce. Bye!